And today I want to talk about 5 tips that can help you have less failed prints. And the reality is that 3D printing is not like a regular printer that you press a button and you have your piece of paper. Here, if you want to model, there's a lot of things to think about it. It's messy. It's completely a challenge sometimes. So if you want to know these tips, keep watching. And just as a reminder, this is a sculpting channel. So if you subscribe and see other type of content, don't worry, don't unsubscribe. You can check my 3D printing list, and also more 3D printing videos will come. Knowing that, if you want to be part of this community, subscribe, like, share. Let's start. And let's do tip number 1. And it's really common knowledge that you have to level your printer. But there's many ways, and people are still just finding or trying in different ways to have that perfect level. And pretty much why you level your printer? Well, you need to have the perfect space between the bed and the screen to create that first layer and be able to keep going and create your piece. So basically, you press the button to level. You have to make sure that this is on a screw and it moves and it goes down. You can use a piece of paper, and pretty much that's it. A lot of people argue that you have to use a really thin piece of paper, and some that you have to be really thick, no cardstock or something thicker than a regular piece of paper. But a lot of people that I've seen online, they say that they have tried all of them and they don't really see a big difference. But the important thing is when you have your paper between the bed and the screen is that pretty much you have to really gently try to move it. I have to say that I've seen some printers that the paper doesn't get stuck that much, like you see some people online that they even do it really hard and you cannot move the paper. In my printer, that is the hollowed one, it moves a little bit, but that doesn't mean that it's not level. It's just that I'm applying too much force. So just do it really gentle, and if it stay there, then you're good to go. But also different techniques. One of them is to put your bat and put some resin. And because the resin, it will take some space, some pressure when they do the leveling. The resin will act like if it was a piece of paper. The idea is kind of have the perfect space between the screen and the bed. So it's supposed to be a perfect level. But it's kind of challenging because you don't really know if it is working. A new one that I just saw online is that some people actually do almost the same thing. They have their resin, but what they do is they print their first layer. So when the printer create the first layer, they completely cancel the project so it doesn't continue creating the layers. And because they already printed the first layer, you're supposed to have that perfect space. Also, it's a little bit tricky, it's a little bit challenging, but those are some of the ways that you can completely level your bed. One of the things that I have to say is that make sure that it's completely clean. A tiny leftovers of resin that maybe you don't see it, it can cause you problems. It could be that it's not going to be balanced. So for sure, just check that. Something that happened to me when I was printing these pieces, actually, it was kind of funny. I leveled my printer with this that I really love. It's just a metal plate that you put it on your printer. And I love this because it helps you to remove your piece really easy. Even if it is not really thick, it's just almost like a piece of paper. I didn't put it when I was printing my pieces, and it didn't print anything. And I was like, why it didn't print anything? And it's because I didn't put this one back. So after I put it back, I just cleaned the top. I put it back and completely I was able to print again. So small detail like that, of course, can give you some problems. Now for number 2, also depends a lot your environment. Now I can give you exactly the numbers of my printer that I use, and I'm going to show it to you on the screen, but maybe it doesn't work for you. Why? It's because we are in different parts of the world. I don't know if we're using the same resin. So for sure, a lot of details could change the temperature on the room and in the resin. Also, by example, if you add some more resin, more material, like there's some people that they create this translucent, or just they use any kind of clear resin. They also like to put any type of paint, no resin paint, to color and do certain effects, which is really cool, but that's for another video. But for sure, adding things, it will also mess up with the temperature of the resin, and that I'm going to talk more about it in the last point. But for sure, the most important thing, no, usually resin, they recommend between 68 and 72 degrees. No, basically is where the room it has to be. If it is too cold, it's not really going to warm enough, and if it is too warm, you're gonna have pieces that are overexposed. And I'm gonna talk about that also in the last tip. And also, I had a subscriber that actually he was asking me, okay, my printer was working and now it's not. What's happening? So I was telling him certain things, and he was just telling me that he just bought a new bottle of resin and he was able to print. He didn't do anything to the printer. So one of the things that also happened is, like everything, no, could things come bad from their place where they created it. Machine also makes mistakes. One thing that is important also to know is that they do have expiration dates. So maybe you can buy something and it's already outdated. So make sure, I think usually, don't remember, but I think they last like 2 years, by July 23rd. This was a perfect time to use it. And that could be one of the problems. So the resin. Tip number 3. The resin, they come, I don't know really the mix or the chemistry on it, but basically you can see, and over here I'm going to show you a photo of how before I printed these materials, I had this resin for like a month or two in my vat, and you can see how like there's two different colors, no, meaning that they're like a separation of chemicals. And this happened either on the alcohol resin or the washable with water resin. It happened the same thing, no? You can see separation if you leave it for too long. So actually it's recommended to mix your bottles of resin before printing. So of course you don't want to shake it like this, because you're going to create bubbles, and bubbles are another way to have fails, because those bubbles will, you won't have any resin when it's trying to print, because it's going to be a pocket of air. So that's going to create really big problems. So one of the things that you can try to do, or that I do, is try to move it around or just gently with my hand like this, and usually I don't really have problems. You may have a little bit of bubbles if they're not that much, and they're like usually in the corners. I haven't really have an issue even if I see a little bit, but if you really shake it, you'll have big ones and it will be scared all around and it will be a nightmare. The next one, some people, what they do actually is on the bed, they scratch the bed. No, they sand it, they create some lines to make sure that the first layer really stays on the bed and you can actually print. So that's not a bad idea. I actually not only scratched the bed, but before I got this plate that comes with this magnet, I also scratched this plate to help me out. And let's go for the final and most important tip that I can give you, and it's actually this tip number 5, is to control your printer. You're gonna see a lot of things, a lot of numbers that maybe can be overwhelming on your printer, on your slicers too, but just don't worry, and slowly you can learn every single one. But there's two main ones that I want to talk about, and I have to say that they have different names. No, I've seen different printers, different programs, and sometimes they change the name. So maybe you're gonna have to do some research to know exactly what they're talking about. The setting that I want to talk about is the first layer. When you're printing, you have the very first one that is gonna stay in your printer, and that's gonna be really important to make sure that that it keeps going printing. Of course, that doesn't mean that the piece is gonna be successful, but it's a start. A lot of companies, they put that number a little bit higher. No, basically you can, there's really hard numbers to say, but if you have from 1 to 3 exposure, that's, we can say, the range depending on your situation. Most companies, they put 3.5 or around that, or even higher, because they want to make sure that the very first print that you do, it won't fail and you will not take your printer and try to return it. No, if you have a print, most likely you're gonna just keep trying. So they overexpose, and that can give you a little bit of problems. Also, some of the fails of the printer is that maybe they're underexposed, and I'm not only talking about the bottom layer, they're also their general exposure. That means that basically you can choose how much is the first layer, but also you can choose the exposure of every single layer, how long the light is gonna be turned on to harden that layer. The other setting that I want to talk about that you need to change is the exposure of the layers. So remember, usually I'm gonna tell you that my bottom layer usually is 35 seconds, and if you have a tiny piece like this tiny cat, it could be even less, or this Spider-Man that basically was really not much and it's really light, because that's something that you need to think about it. How heavy is your piece, how strong your bottom layer has to be. So basically, if it is really a big piece, you have to use a higher number. Like I use between 45 and 50. If it is something really, the smaller it is, I use 35 or even less. Like over here, I'm going to show you a really tiny robot. Even this tiny cat, you don't need, of course, that much. No, it's depending on what you are. Of course, this one well, except for the Batman, for all these ones, there are different heights, and I print them exactly with the same setting. And for the exposure of the layers, I will put just the number 3. There is test. I'm gonna show you on a on a bigger photo, but they're really tiny. Actually, this is the actual size, but I could have do it bigger. And these are just tests that you can use. I really like this one. There's a traditional one that is only a square, but this one, it has this 3D cubes, so you can actually really see what's happening. No, when you're printing, when you're testing. This is the exposure that I show you. My exposure, what I use to print all these ones. But basically, what you want to look is the details. More in the tiny ones, more over here, this triangle that you can see. If you see in all these small details that you don't see them, basically they are kind of gluing together, that you have kind of a bigger figure. That means that you are putting too much heat, you're overexposing. If in the other side you're kind of not seeing all that detailed and it's really some part not even forming, that means that is underexposed. So there's a lot of things also when you're doing, like over here you can see these ones. I'm gonna do another video about supports, but this one I didn't use supports completely. I just put them in my printer and this is the way they print it. So, but one of the ways also to know if it is underexposed or overexposed is to check your supports. If they are really weak and they're really, you can even bend them and everything, that means that it's underexposed. If they're really hard and even your piece is stuck in the bed, that you can, that's just really hard to remove it, most likely is that you are overexposing your piece. No, that's why it's really hard, really stuck in the bed. So, but basically you can see that one of the things also in, probably you're gonna see that it looks wet or that it doesn't look good, because something that I didn't do it, I was a little bit lazy, and it's just a test. I didn't really clean it, or I didn't really clean it really well. So you can see that after I cure it, you see all that wet resin. So this is the reason why you have to clean your pieces. But it's just amazing, the tiny letters, the tiny numbers that I can see. I can barely see that probably I need to lower my exposure by a number. It's almost perfect, but it's not perfect. So something like this can really help you to create. And you want to do 4 of these. I only did 1 in the center because I was hoping that everything was okay. But the reality is, done it before, but my printer moves a lot. And there's an extra tip: don't move your printer. Or if you have to move your printer, remember you have to recalibrate, re-level every single time you move your printer, not from place. Otherwise, you can just leave it like that, and it should, in theory, just keep printing, and you don't have to level ever again if you don't move your printer. But if you move your printer, you're gonna have to. So basically, I only did 1. The best thing is to do 4, and that was gonna make sure that when you print those 4, that if you see something that in one side is maybe missing or it didn't finish, most likely is that it's not leveled properly. And there's another extra tip: maybe your printer could be level, but if the floor in your wherever you put your printer is not level, that will also cause problems. So you pretty much have to check everything. I'm gonna show you over here. My printer really in a corner over here. I have a windows here, but I need to make sure that it's completely covered and the sun doesn't go through, because of course that's also, if you put prints close to a window, even if it is closed, even if you don't have that much light, it may affect. I don't know, that's what I think. That's why I completely hiding from my window in the sun. So basically, these are some tips that can help you create, to make sure, like I said, exposure bottom is really important. But if your bottom stays and your support stays, most likely you need to have more exposure time to be able to hold your piece. No, so that's something. That's some of the tips. Remember, if you want to be part of this community, subscribe. Have a nice day, and just enjoy art and 3D printing. So see you.